Yes, thank you, Grania. Well, on the day that championship football returns to Killarney, we've got championship weather and an atmosphere to match. The colour, the noise and the sense of excitement that you'd expect when the All-Ireland champions meet the National League champions. And what a spectacular setting it is here at Fitzgerald Stadium in Killarney. Well, plenty of team news to digest over the last half an hour or so, particularly from a Mayo perspective, but we're just going to recap on how the teams line out before the action gets underway here. No major surprise on the Kerry side. Jack O'Connor sending out the same starting 15 that cruised to victory over Clare a couple of weeks ago. Goalkeeper Shane Ryan, he'll be hoping to keep his third successive clean sheet. Tadhg Morley is expected to sweep from his position at number 6. And it's the Nagale teammates from Tralee, Diarmuid O'Connor and Jack Barry, who partner up in midfield. And no doubt who all eyes are on in that Kerry attack, David Clifford. He captains the team, shot 7 points here against Mayo in that Super 8s game 4 years ago. On the Mayo side, well, Kevin McStay, he's made 3 late changes to the team that was announced yesterday. Number 24, Pádraig O'Hora, is in for Paddy Durcan, but as Michael Meehan mentioned there, Durcan did stand in for the coin toss. He is on the bench, we're told. Number 21, Donncha McHugh, is in for Stephen Cohen, who's also among the Mayo substitutes. And in attack, number 18, Jason Doherty, starts instead of Fionn McDonough. Aidan O'Shea playing his 80th championship match this afternoon. So a crowd of about 25,000 people here, now standing to attention for our own Navíon. There's our match officials, led by referee Sean Herson from the Galbally Pierce's club in Tyrone. He was the man in the middle when these teams played in the league back in February. He also took charge of the 2019 championship game between them here in Killarney. So the scene set then. Crowds have been streaming down Lewis Road for the last few hours. Big Mayo crowd have travelled. Huge Kerry support out in big numbers as well. Mark O'Shea is alongside me in the commentary box, and Mark, those 3 late Mayo changes, well, they've got everybody talking here in the last half an hour.
They have, Mike. Yeah, it's interesting. We thought that Paddy Durcan was going to maybe detail Pádraig Clifford. That hasn't been the case. So we're in for a fantastic game of football.
Well, Kerry, the hot favourites to keep their remarkable record going here at Fitzgerald Stadium. That's a heavy and awkward-looking collision right from the throw-in. It's Pádraig Clifford who's down, and this will be a cause of real concern. Innocuous looking challenge, but Clifford has obviously injured himself and will need some attention.
Yeah, that was a real high hit. We can see it here again. 2 players going for the ball. Aidan O'Shea came in. Ball was there to be won. Pádraig Clifford is a tough bit of stuff. He got a hard knock there, so it'll be interesting to see how Pádraig is after that, Mike.
Well, on the replay there, from that angle, that indeed was a really big hit by Aidan O'Shea on Pádraig Clifford. We'll keep an eye on Pádraig. Right now, he's gingerly tracking back over on this near side of the field as Mayo try to build from the back through Donncha McHugh, one of those 3 late changes to the starting team. In case you've joined us late, Pádraig O'Hora, Donncha McHugh and Jason Doherty all start as Ryan O'Donoghue gets out in front of Tom O'Sullivan and claims his first mark inside the first 90 seconds. Quickly taken, it's Diarmuid O'Connor, he's in! Really good save by Shane Ryan. Got a strong hand to the shot from O'Connor, and that's why he is looking for his 3rd straight clean sheet in the championship here this afternoon. Terrific save.
Great save by Shane Ryan, called into action very early. Paddy Clifford won the ball afterwards and gave it away cheaply, so maybe Paddy is feeling the effects of that hard hit from Aidan O'Shea.
Mayo trying to start here on the front foot. O'Shea goes to ground. Jason Doherty shot blocked by Tadhg Morley.
And that's what Tadhg Morley gives, you know, he's that player back there in the D, and he smelt that danger, Mike, and a fantastic block down by him.
Just looking quickly at the matchups, it is David McBrien on David Clifford. Sam Callanan right now has headed out the field and is marking Shawnee O'Shea. Here's David Clifford. First chance for him to run hard at McBrien on his championship debut. The step, the shot, and gathered by Colm Reap.
Yeah, he had the hard work done, David. He'd gone by 2 Mayo players. It was a handy kick. Unfortunately, didn't go over the bar. On the other side of the field, we see Tom O'Sullivan marking Ryan O'Donoghue. Ryan won the first mark there, so that's going to be a great battle between the two of them.
Pádraig O'Hora, by the way, picking up Paul Ganey in these early stages as Jack Coyne gets forward. This just his second start in the championship. Ghosting into the space on the left, it's James Carr. Nobody picked him up, and he should really have done better.
Yeah, 2 balls into the goalkeeper's hand, either end of the pitch, so maybe a bit of nerves from both sides. We see Dylan Casey out here as well, marking Aidan O'Shea. That'll be a great battle as well between those two.
Well, right now, no Mayo player inside the Kerry 65. Everybody has drifted backfield to try and deal with this Kerry attack. Kerry wearing their navy away kit this afternoon, Mayo in their alternate jerseys, and that's a really good turnover as Jordan Flynn goes galloping down the right. Support slowing getting to him now. Matthew Ruan, there's a man inside, it's James Carr. It's all opened up, it's Carr. Ryan again. The rebound falls to Ryan O'Donoghue, and after a few missed chances, Mayo finally opened their account inside 4 minutes. Shane Ryan again to the rescue. Yeah,
poor play from Kerry. They were badly caught there, really opened at the back, and Shane Ryan called into play there for the second time to bail Kerry out, and a good score from Ryan O'Donoghue. Should have been a goal for Mayo.
Well, they've only conceded 1 goal in their last 8 championship matches, Kerry. They've been opened up twice here in the first 4 minutes. Tony Brosnan plays his club football across the road with Dr. Crooks. He just got right under that. And Colm Reap, making his second championship start, gets it away to Jordan Flynn. But right now there is so much space in front of Mayo's 2-man full forward line of Aidan O'Shea and James Carr, as Jordan Flynn is forced to carry it now, tries to deliver, but there is the Kerry sweeper right on cue.
Yeah, Tadhg Morley again smelt the danger. He's kind of playing outside the D, so he's kind of caught between 2 stools, and he's trying to sniff out the danger. He did very well there on that occasion.
Well, we wondered where Jason Doherty would play. Right now he's operating as an orthodox wing forward on Gavin White, as David Clifford at full stretch.
The other side as well, we see Conor Loftus protecting his fullback David McBrien there. Good ball by Dara Moynihan into David Clifford, but there was a lot to do, and the ball went over the end line.
That Mayo kick out is clipped short, and they will again try and work their way out through the lines through Conor Loftus. Jack Coyne. Back to Sam Callanan, who's got the championship haircut by the looks of things. Loftus again. Now Diarmuid O'Connor, Mayo's on-field captain. Poor ball. Morley in the right place at the right time, and Mayo making life easy for him there. Paddy Clifford scanning the full forward line, looking for his brother David. So often they work in sync and perfect harmony. Graham O'Sullivan, Tony Brosnan. Mayo protecting the D. Brosnan takes on the shot and pushes it away to the right and wide.
Just wide. Interesting, maybe 2 plays ago, Shane Ryan had a kick out and Mayo did a press. I was wondering, would that press come? There's the opportunity, the goal. Fantastic save by Shane Ryan. Diarmuid O'Connor did as well as he could. He kept the ball low, but Shane Ryan did very well.
He is the all-star goalkeeper, the Rathmore man, and he has shown twice already just why. Foul on Sam Callanan. Diarmuid O'Connor, the Kerry one, was the player who gives it away. Here's the Mayo one. Diarmuid O'Connor from Ballintubber. His brother Killian, not among Mayo's 26-man squad today, misses out through injury. Matty Ruan trying to give Paudie Clifford the eyes. Morley moves across to squeeze the space, and here's Aidan O'Shea being picked up by Dylan Casey. Sean Herson was playing an advantage, and it's Paudie Clifford, I think, that he's just having a word with. But yeah, O'Shea already proving a handful.
Yeah, he is. As I said, it's going to be a good battle between himself and Dylan Casey. Paudie is back there defending, possibly too deep at times, because was it Dylan Casey maybe that he was having a word to? I thought it was just both players, you know, going for the ball, but Aidan won his free.
So in the absence of Killian O'Connor in particular, Aidan O'Shea kicks the free from that right side and steers it over. Mayo ease 2 in front.
And again we see Colm Reid coming out to his own 45. Just something that we've seen in the championship so far. We see Oren Lynch doing it, we see Ethan Rafferty doing it, and it just when the goalkeeper is kicking the ball out, he's looking up, but Shane Ryan is bombing it right down on top of him.
Diarmuid O'Connor dropping with Jack Barry, touchdown to Jack Carney, and the Kilmina man will head for open country. Now Mayo just reset, and Jason Doherty, starting his 59th championship game, gets his hands on the ball.
And Mayo are playing with those 3 players inside. It isn't the case where one player is coming out. They have their 3 danger men in the inside line and are looking to kick. But obviously Tyke Morley's back there, so it's proving difficult for Mayo.
Jason Doherty swallowed up there. But it is 6 weeks since they had a game. Kerry looking sharp here. Gainey eating up the ground. Makes the angle, sets himself. And the All-Ireland champions, after 8.5 minutes, are up and running. And it's Paul Gainey, their most experienced forward, that hits the target.
Yeah, Mayo did well to get back. They were caught on the counter. Sam Callanan was rushing back. But I think Paul Gainey took the right option there, kicking the ball over the bar to get Kerry off the mark with their first score.
That's the scene in front of Colm Reid from Knockmore, trying to send a signal to his intended target. Jack Carney breaks hard to the right, and Reid picks him out just in front of Diarmuid O'Connor.
Excellent kick out by Colm Reid.
Jason Foley did well there. He was a doubt coming into the game with a hamstring problem. Looks to be hale and hearty at the moment as Jordan Flynn crosses the 45. Lovely ball to Aidan O'Shea, hand in the air. Well, he was going to claim the mark. Sean Herson, I think, had already blown, or had he for a free? Either way, it's a shot at goal.
I don't think Aidan heard the whistle there on that occasion. He put his hand up for the mark, but it was one-on-one inside between himself and Dylan Casey, and it was a great ball in. Another score for Aidan O'Shea.
So 2 for Aidan O'Shea. Dylan Casey has got his hands full in the first 10 minutes here, the man from Austin Stacks.
It's actually a very hard thing to do when it's one-on-one and there's decent supply of ball coming in. It's like trying to keep the tide out, Mike. So Kerry will have to try and make sure that they've bodies back and not create one-on-one opportunities for Mayo.
First chance here for Shawnee O'Shea to get turned and play a pass to his partner in crime, David Clifford. Tom Sullivan timing the run, and a trademark score from the Kerry cornerback. He does that so often, and you can be sure Mayo knew it was coming. But Tom Sullivan swings over a beauty.
Yeah, that's what he does to great effect. Fantastic score from this man, and we always expect him to kick 2 or 3 points on every game.
Ball breaks kindly for Donnacha McHugh. Mayo filling their time since the defeat to Roscommon with a couple of challenge matches against Tyrone and Kildare. But this their first day out since exiting the provincial championship with a very disappointing performance. Conor Loftus still going. Just got his wires crossed there with Donnacha McHugh.
Kerry have only one player up now, Tony Brosnan, and it's just about carrying that ball up the field. Even David Clifford is back in his own defence.
Tyke Morley Diarmuid O'Connor. Mayo have got Jack Carney and Colm Reap, the goalkeeper, both sweeping in front of Tony Brosnan. So there's nothing obvious on long for Paudie Clifford. Kerry will recycle and start over through Tom Sullivan. David Clifford. Pádraig O'Hora standing him up. Clifford gets room to pull the trigger, and David Clifford with a glorious point. O'Hora probably felt he had most of the angles covered, and then Clifford goes and does that.
That's absolutely incredible. I mean, how do you defend that, Mike? It's just, you know, you're playing as a defender, you're wondering which side he's going to go. He's equally able with right and left, and great score over the bar with the left leg. Another excellent kick out from Colm Reap. That's 2 in a row out this side, out the terrace side.
So David Clifford gets his first of the day in typically spectacular fashion.
Again, Aidan O'Shea's inside, one-on-one inside with Dylan Casey. I think they're targeting O'Shea, thinking Dylan Casey might be a soft touch here.
Tyke Morley sweeping quite a bit out the field. Now Paudie Clifford has gone back to sit in front of Aidan O'Shea, but in any event,
I think
Mayo
he's
have given
down
away
again.
the free.
Yeah, Paudie's down again. Is that Paudie? Actually, it's Tom O'Sullivan. Tom is down again. But just getting back to Aidan O'Shea and Dylan Casey, I've said already, that's going to be a great battle. For Austin Stacks, Dylan Casey's the go-to man. He's done jobs on the likes of Seanie O'Shea, David Clifford in county championship games. So it's not as though he's going to back down. He's going to relish this opportunity with Aidan O'Shea. But from a Kerry point of view, they're going to have to make sure that D area is filled with the likes of Tyke Morley or maybe a Gavin White cheating in, because you don't want a situation where it's one-on-one. It's a really hard thing to do, and here we see it. You know, Aidan's looking for this ball, and in fairness, Mayo are looking to kick long, so Kerry will have to keep an eye on that.
So Tom Sullivan up again, good to go.
Pass here should be Shane Ryan.
The Kerry keeper is available. A lot of bodies in that middle third right now. Everybody tightly covered. But there is space in behind for Shane Ryan here. He's going to carry this. Mayo have backed off. Now, what will Ryan do from here? Plays the percentage pass to Dara Moynihan. Paudie Clifford looking for movement, takes a nice 1-2. Kerry crowd felt he was pushed. Sean Herson felt he fell over, free to Mayo. He says Clifford touched it on the ground.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one again, but it's Aidan O'Shea who's back there now sweeping. He's really started well. Here we see it again, Mike. Paudie wins the return, goes through, drops the ball. Yeah, maybe the hand went down, maybe he touched it on the ground all right.
Mayo kick towards Ryan O'Donoghue, touches it off beautifully. Pádraig O'Hora, he's got Gainey after him. O'Hora still going, he's in, and Pádraig O'Hora gets his first score ever in championship football in swashbuckling style. He just kept on going, almost lost the balance, but it's enough to draw Mayo level.
Good score from O'Hora. I had to look at him the second time there with the new hairstyle, but he did very well there. Ryan O'Donoghue did excellent there to offload that ball to Pádraig O'Hora, who was coming in on the run. And Tom O'Sullivan was out with Ryan, but Ryan just won the ball at the vital time, and that's a great score again from Mayo.
That score, of course, puts Mayo in front. The scoreboard operator just a little slow into action as Flynn pops it to Carr. So simple and so effective.
Great score from James Carr, and what he'll be really happy with there, Mike, is that he started that move when he won the ball inside from Jason Foley, who's a really fast player off the blocks. Carr just got out in front, and he was at the end of the move as well. And a great score from Mayo, and they've started the brightest here. They're winning by 2 points with 16 minutes of play gone.
Tyke Morley, the Kerry player who needed some attention, but that purple patch has opened up a little bit of daylight here after 16 minutes, and that now means all of Mayo's full forward line are on the score sheet.
Yeah, and from a Kerry point of view, with the exception of David Clifford, who has been very much involved, it's important that they get their big go-to players, Seanie O'Shea, Gavin White, Tom O'Sullivan, these fellas involved, Paddy Clifford involved in the play, because they're the players that make Kerry tick. And if they get involved in the play, we've a Gavin White here on the ball. If he can tear off down the field like he's accustomed to, it might just raise the crowd.
Well, they'll tell you he's the quickest man in the Kerry squad. Jordan Flynn trying to stay with him. Seanie O'Shea isn't too far behind, and he's just drawn a foul. Two of the speed merchants in the Kerry team there combining, and when they do pick up the pace and the tempo, they look dangerous.
Yeah, and I think Seanie was a bit fortuitous there that the referee called the play back, because I think he was just about to overplay it. But just mentioning the players, it's just both of those just involved in the last play, Gavin White and Seanie O'Shea, and this is a really important one now for Seanie to kick over the bar.
So Seanie O'Shea just getting himself into the zone. Starting his 26th championship game today, one of the best footballers in the country, looking to draw that in, but hasn't come in. There's hardly a puff of wind here at Fitzgerald Stadium, and he just miscued it ever so slightly.
Yeah, he tends to take those runs from the hand, you know, but I'm surprised Seanie didn't take that off the ground and maybe just get himself into the game, because those off the ground from Seanie are nearly nailed on.
That's Kerry's third wide. Mayo haven't registered a single one yet. Diarmuid O'Connor does the heavy lifting. Ryan O'Donoghue across towards Ruan. Followed the flight of the ball well there under a little bit of pressure. Now Sam Callanan played with the Mayo under-20s earlier this season. Loftus again driving forward from 6, gives and goes. Nobody on his shoulder though when he turned initially, as Diarmuid O'Connor goes back and tries to keep some momentum. Kerry leaving just 2 up as they defend this Mayo move.
Again, the D is open. Like, I mean, any ball in there is 2v2 inside, so it's surprising from Kerry.
Tyke Morley not at home as David McBrien gets involved again. Jason Doherty tripped, free in. Well, again, Kerry reluctant to engage the ball carrier, and when they did, they've given away the free.
Yeah, and you know, we spoke, I think it was a Graham O'Sullivan or Diarmuid O'Connor. Yeah, between them it was, but I mean, looking from we spoke about the matchups before the game, Mike, and one of the big ones, the glaring ones for me, is Paddy Clifford and Jack Kine. Jack is really sticking to his task there and getting really tight on Paddy Clifford. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Mayo are going to set up now from this free kick from Ryan O'Donoghue.
Well, that is 3 points without reply from Mayo now. A handy one for Ryan O'Donoghue. All-star back in 2021, the Belmulloch corner forward. And Kevin McStay and Stephen Rochford, you'd imagine, will be pretty pleased with how the first 20 minutes have panned out.
Yeah, this is really interesting because we've got 2 Kerry players unmarked out in the middle of the field, and he's actually given it to one of them, Seanie O'Shea.
Great catch. Kerry without a score, by the way, for the last 8 minutes. Dylan Casey. Diarmuid O'Connor and Seanie O'Shea again, the playmaker. Mayo going man-to-man. Donnacha McHugh, one of the defenders, getting touch tight and did well there. Another Kerry attack breaks down.
Yeah, I like to see Kerry kicking the ball, and it's good to see that. But when you are kicking the ball, you have to make sure the ball is nice and low and not over the head. And then on that occasion, it was overcooked ever so slightly.
Well, a lot made of the fact during the week that Kerry won their 2 games in the Munster Championship by a combined total of 34 points. 2 very straightforward wins over Tip and Clare. But they're being asked different questions, harder questions here in the first 20 minutes or so. Diarmuid O'Connor runs on to take the return pass. The angle was getting tighter. Morley and Foley came across, and between the 2 of them, they've given away the 45.
Yeah, Morley's doing well. You know, he's sniffing out that danger. Diarmuid O'Connor is running really hard for this Mayo team at the moment. Himself and Matthew Ruan are out around the middle of the field. I think they're just getting the upper hand over the Kerry boys. But getting back to your point about the provincial championship, Mike, yeah, it's all the talk about the Munster Championship and the Leinster Championship, and I suppose the Connacht Championship to a lesser extent. But this game was always going to be a tougher game than that of Tipperary and Clare. You're going up a few levels now, and these are the two heavyweights of this group. So up until now, up until the 22nd minute, it's been mostly Mayo, and Colin Reap has an opportunity here now to put them 4 points ahead.
He's a converted forward, Colin Reap, but a strong tradition of goalkeepers in his house. His dad, Pat, would have played in an All-Ireland club final back in the 90s. He's pushed that kick. No issue with distance for Colin Reap, but missed the goal by quite a distance, and that is Mayo's first wide.
Yeah, an interesting stat that I'm seeing out in the field is that there's one or two Kerry players that are just being left free. We see Tony Brosnan down by his own D, so Kerry or Mayo really going for the press when they have a free kick. They'll really press hard on the Kerry kick out.
Lovely delivery by Tadhg Morley to Darren Moynihan. He delivers one around the corner for Shawnee O'Shea, but it was cut out by David McBrien. Read it really well. Now Mayo have loose men here. One of them is Jordan Flynn. Matty Ruan has picked him out. Kerry trying to get their sweeper and their cover back as Flynn cuts in field, draws in a couple of defenders, looks for Aidan O'Shea, who hesitated, but that's because Sean Herson felt Dylan Casey was fouling the Mayo target man, and he's just drawn yet another free.
I've been in that position before, Mike. It's a really hard one. Dylan Casey's not happy. You know, two players going for the ball. Aidan O'Shea using all his experience there, it has to be said. And of the opening 24 minutes, Aidan O'Shea has the upper hand there. Dylan Casey isn't doing much wrong, but Aidan is playing it very clever. So from a, you know, the other thing is, Kerry have been sloppy. I think Tadhg Morley's going off here, else he's getting some attention. He's going off, and Paul Murphy's coming in. So I think Tadhg Morley went down injured a few minutes ago. Let's hope from a Kerry point of view it's not too serious.
Yeah, we're hearing it's a temporary substitution for the moment anyway. Paul Murphy, a lot of experience, a lot of know-how. He will slot in to the sweeper role. Kerry now 12 minutes and counting since they last scored. Chance for Aidan O'Shea to top up the Mayo lead. Well, he's been kicking accurately and consistently all season. That's his third of this game. And all of a sudden, Mayo have opened up a 4-point lead.
They have a good kick out by Kerry in return, and they need to get the ball down the field now and get a few scores before half-time to get themselves back in this game, Mike.
Finding it difficult to break down this Mayo defence. Now they could be in. It's Paudie Clifford. He's under pressure. And Sam Callanan forced to give away the free. Moynihan, Shawnee O'Shea and Clifford all moving at pace. And they managed to get in behind. And there you can see Callanan just had a hand on the jersey.
Yeah, Paudie knew what he was at. He played for the free, no different to Aidan O'Shea in the previous one. And a handy one for Shawnee O'Shea now to bring it back to 3 points.
So the Kenmare man, Shawnee O'Shea, knocks over his first. And the Kerry crowd have something to shout about for the first time in 13 minutes or so.
Colin Reap and Mayo have done very well in their own kickouts. I'd say they've won most of their kickouts, if not all of them.
Free in here, Conor Loftus had to use it or lose it. Reap went short. Kerry just surrounded him so quickly. Shut him down. Closed off all his routes of escape. And that's a soft one from a Mayo perspective. Kerry will be thrilled. And that's 2 points inside 60 seconds for O'Shea and Clifford. And the Munster and All-Ireland champions start to reel Mayo back in.
Yeah, and just when Mayo were in complete control, two mistakes and back come Kerry with 2 points, and it's only a 2-point game now.
This time Reap goes long. The contest won by Jack Carney. Quick hands, and now Matty Ruan. Darren Moynihan gives chase. Conor Loftus. Well, Kerry have brought everybody back behind the ball. Their turn here to get Mayo to think their way through this crowded final third of the field. Matty Ruan puts the boot to the floor, goes by a couple of defenders. Carr looking to make an angle. Well, he's got a ferocious belt of a football, and James Carr has sent that flying up and over the bar. 2 points for the full forward from Arda. It didn't look to be a whole lot on, and then he just moved up through the gears, left the defenders for dead, and Mayo's 3-point cushion restored.
Yeah, and the big difference for me, Mike, is we see Tyke Morley's coming back in here now for Paul Murphy, but the big difference for me is the contrast in the two full forward lines. We see Matthew Ruan really running hard, himself and Diarmuid O'Connor running hard around the middle of the field. As I said, they have the upper hand there in that battle against the Kerry boys, but it's the inside line. It's Aidan O'Shea, it's James Carr, and it's Ryan O'Donoghue who are really taking the game to Kerry.
Shane Ryan goes long, break works out for Kerry, and Paudie Clifford from Fossa is on the move. Graham O'Sullivan makes a run inside. Instead, it's the brother David. The bounce to buy the time and space back to Dara Moynihan. The crowd like it. Dara Moynihan likes it. The fist pump, the score for Kerry. And now this game is starting to open up a little.
Yeah, it's a bit more like it from Kerry, moving the ball at pace, giving it to the person in the best position. And good to see Dara Moynihan getting on the end of the score, because he works ever so hard.
Colm Reid gets his kick out away. Jason Doherty played in the 2012 All-Ireland final, still going, getting the start today. Sam Callanan all the way across to Pádraig O'Hora. Has missed a lot of football this season with injury. Comes into the Mayo backline to try and do a job on those Kerry forwards, but also to try and join the attack. Mayo trying to bring width into this and stretch Kerry. Coming in off the wing is Carr again. So unpredictable. From a Kerry point of view, we'd wonder, would Kerry be better off making a change with Jason Foley and Dylan Casey just to shake things up a bit, as James Carr and Aidan O'Shea are having a huge influence in this game. Well, right now Mayo have got Donnacha McHugh and Jason Doherty in their full forward line. A lot of movement. Aidan O'Shea has crashed in to the Kerry man. It's a free against him. Kerry crowd didn't like that. It was Paul Ganey who felt the full force of Aidan O'Shea. Seanie O'Shea in to have a word as well. Kerry go long, up to the target man. He's been fouled, David Clifford. Well, they were trying to catch Mayo on the back foot there, and McBrien and O'Hora. Well, I think David McBrien has protested too much. Ball will be moved in. That was some pass to pick out David Clifford. Great pass. Mayo aren't too happy. The supporters aren't too happy with that one. Up the other end of the field, Aidan O'Shea won the ball, and I think Paul Ganey came straight into him. So you'd wonder how could Aidan get out of the way. Really, it was a hard one for him, and an opportunity. David Clifford puts that ball over the bar and brings it back to a 1-point game. But Mayo are not too happy. Here we see it again. What a ball from Paudie Clifford to pick out his brother. Yeah, and that was a free. But Paudie and David have that chemistry between them. Quick counter-attack from Mayo here. Diarmuid O'Connor to Ryan O'Donoghue. Turns inside Tom O'Sullivan. And Ryan O'Donoghue swings over a beauty for Mayo. Well, they're going score for score now in the last few minutes. The quality, the intensity starting to pick up all over the field. And it's 9 points to 7 as we swing into the last 3 minutes, or 4 minutes of normal time at the end of the first half. It's end-to-end stuff, and the crowd are really getting behind their teams here now. And the two inside lines, particularly David Clifford for Kerry, and the entire Mayo full forward line are reaping the benefits for that long ball in. And Paudie put a great ball into his brother David there, and he won a great free. Right now it's Sam Callanan sweeping in front of David Clifford and David McBrien. Everybody else in a Mayo jersey trying to fill space. 4 of Kerry's points, by the way, have come from frees. Haven't been as fluid today as they were in previous championship matches from play, but still early days. Paddy Clifford looking to run Jack Coyne.
Mayo have everyone inside their 45 now.
David Clifford with those 2 dummy solos of a certain kind.
Good ball.
Lovely ball into space. It's Dylan Casey and it's straight at Killarney. Well, he came into the line at speed, shot instinctively, but didn't get enough power or direction behind it.
That's an opportunity where if you had Tom O'Sullivan there in that position where Dylan Casey was, you know there's going to be a score, minimum a point, if not a goal.
Matty Ruan. Callanan could sense Dara Moynihan and Tony Brosnan gaining on him, and they've turned it over. It's David Clifford. This time tries to turn provider. Kerry felt there was a late hit on Clifford, and there was. It was Diarmuid O'Connor that delivered it, and Kerry have another free. Well, there's a lot going on and off the ball, and that time it was Diarmuid O'Connor who went in high and dangerously so on David Clifford, and there will be a free, and there may even be a card.
Yeah,
it's a yellow for the Mayo number 9.
He just came in a bit late, but you know, there's opportunities on both teams to catch the other team on the counter attack. We've seen it a good few occasions now in this game so far, and it really is end-to-end stuff.
Kerry go back to try and come forward. Jason Foley, the all-star fullback, to Jack Barry. Tom Sullivan, nobody shutting him down. He has all the time in the world to take it on, but it's just not going to spin enough. The Tom Sullivan slicer, for once, is off target, and that is another Kerry miss into the scoring goal, Mark.
Yeah.
They were telling me here in Killarney.
Yeah, the scoring goal, yeah. It's not proving too good for Kerry today, but you back Tom all day long in that position. Interesting in the last few minutes, Aidan O'Shea, who is spending most of the time in the inside line, has been out the field now in the last 5-10 minutes.
Possession coughed up cheaply. Chance for Jack Carney to run hard. Now Matty Ruan. Again, he's allowed to advance towards the edge of the D. Back to Carney. And Jack Carney makes it look easy. He is deadly from that sort of range in club and county football. And the Kilmena man gets his 4th point in championship football.
Yeah, good score from Jack Carney. I'd love to see the GPS on Matty Ruan and Diarmuid O'Connor's. I'd love to see the reading on it, because they're really running hard for this Mayo team, setting up attack after attack.
2 in a row for Mayo on an energy-sapping day here in Killarney. Temperature around 20 degrees, but sun has gone in a little in the last while. We'll have 3 minutes of additional time as Diarmuid O'Connor sets up Ryan O'Donoghue. He's into his zone again, and Ryan O'Donoghue chips it up and over. Well, the Mayo runners are making headway, and O'Donoghue and company are filling their boots. Mayo 4 up.
Kerry would be absolutely disgusted with that point, because they kicked a nameless ball out here over the line that was aimed for Shawnee O'Shea, didn't get it. Again, I've mentioned the hard running of Matty Ruan, Diarmuid O'Connor. Ryan O'Donoghue has now kicked 3 points. James Carr has kicked 2 points. Aidan O'Shea has kicked 3 points. Kerry really need to get to grasp with these fellas in the inside line. Mayo have been taking control in their full forward line, and Kerry need to really snuff that danger out.
I make that now 9 points from the Mayo full forward line. Here's one of them, James Carr. His eye has been in. That's very close, and the umpire is happy. James Carr with another one for the scrapbook. That's now 3 for him. Well, he's got so much natural ability, and when he's hot, he's red hot. And Mayo ease 5 clear.
Yeah, like I said, Mike, I genuinely believe that Kerry need to make a change in their full back line. It's the inside boys. I see now for the kick out, Mayo putting the press on again, but when the ball goes out the other end of the field, I'd love to see, will Kerry make a change in the inside line, because they're leaking scores, and they really need to address that at half-time.
That's a run of 4 points on the bounce for Mayo. And it has seen that lead open up again. Gavin White doesn't need a second invitation. David Clifford makes his move. Just for once took his eye off the ball. Looks to the heavens. It's been that sort of a first half by and large for Kerry. It just hasn't been coming as easy as usual. As James Carr looks to take on Dylan Casey. There's a lot of open road here. Carr will go for it, and Ryan again comes up with the answer. Well, he hasn't scored a championship goal for Mayo since that Super 8s game against Galway back in 2019. And he was going for that.
He was. You know, James Carr gets the ball there, and I'm thinking, okay, when is he going to turn? He kept going, he had goal on his mind. And great save again. That's the third save now from Shane Ryan. You know, Kerry will have a lot of questions to answer inside in the dressing room at half-time. They're going to have to tweak things, because it's been all Mayo. You know, you look at the lines, the different lines throughout the field, in particular middle of the field, in particular the inside line. But for this guy, Kerry would be in big trouble.
Well, he's made 3 top-class saves, Shane Ryan, in this first half. And again, so much made in the build-up of how difficult this Kerry backline is to break down. Just that 1 goal conceded in 8 championship games. Mayo could have had 3 in this first half.
Yeah, I think Kerry will certainly need to look to the bench in the second half. I think they're going to have to look at the likes of Brian Begley. I think we're going to need a bit of steel in the second half if we're going to curb the influence of Mayo. Here's Colm Reid now, you know, and he's an opportunity to put it 6.
He's missed 1, and he has just missed another. There goes the half-time whistle. Well, this opening round of the All-Ireland series has certainly lived up to expectations in the first half. The defending All-Ireland champions against one of the pretenders to their throne, and it's Mayo who have set the pace here in Killarney. And at half-time, they have a 5-point cushion. Half-time here in Fitzgerald Stadium, it's Mayo who lead by 12 points to 7. We'll be back with analysis of that first half very shortly. Thanks, Grania. Welcome back to Fitzgerald Stadium. Was just going to mention that stat about 1995. A lot of talk here, I can tell you, in the last 10 or 15 minutes about that defeat to Cork. Kerry 39 games unbeaten since here in Killarney, looking to make it 40 today, but they have a job of work on their hands against a Mayo team looking to beat them in the championship for the first time since the 2017 All-Ireland semi-final replay. And Mark, you were chatting beforehand, that record, Kerry's record in Fitzgerald Stadium, it means a lot. It's not just a number, and it may well have been mentioned even in that dressing room at half-time.
Oh, you can, Mike, it's something that we were always aware of. I was at that game in 95. An excellent Cork team who had many All-Irelands, won 89-90, coming towards the end. So it's a record that Kerry will want to hold on to, you know, something they're very proud of.
So away we go. Second half is on. Mayo playing from right to left. Here's James Carr, and that's his first shot at goal. He is mad for action today, James Carr. Every time he gets the ball in his hands, he's looking to make something happen. 3 points from play already, unable to make it 4.
We see Dylan Casey is after coming off. Paul Murphy is on. He's gone straight on to Ryan O'Donoghue. It's a surprising one for me because, you know, Paul is pushing on in years, and it's a tough task to go into the inside line and to take on one of Mayo's sharp shooters. So it'll be very interesting to see how that unfolds.
Yeah, just looking around the Kerry forward line, it's Jack Coyne on Paddy Clifford, Sam Callanan on Shawnee O'Shea, and David McBrien picking up David Clifford, who's on the ball, right on cue. McBrien watching his every move. Clifford links up nicely with Shawnee O'Shea. Chance here for Tom Sullivan to creep forward again, but this time he's unable to steer it between the sticks and repeat what he did in the first half. He scored 1, he's missed 2, Tom Sullivan, And his runs from deep just giving Kevin McStay and Stephen Rochford something to think about.
Yeah, they are. And Tom has been taken off Ryan O'Donoghue, so maybe he's going to get further up the field. And you're dead right, it's going to be something that Kevin McStay is going to have to really zoom in on, because when you're planning for a team like Kerry, you're obviously looking at your David Cliffords and your Paudie Cliffords and your Shawnee O'Shea's, but you also have to look at Tom O'Sullivan. He's a go-to player for Kerry that comes in with 2 or 3 points every game that at this stage you're probably expecting him to score. So it'll be interesting to see how Mayo will curb his influence.
Just to confirm those Kerry changes at half-time.
Great defending.
Paul Murphy is into the Kerry backline instead of Dylan Casey, and at the other end Adrian Spillane on for Tony Brosnan. Matty Ruan dispossesses Jack Barry, who doesn't look himself out there. Ruan cuts through and extends the Mayo lead. Well, the all-star midfielder of a few years ago has been moving well since the very start, hungry for ball, looking to make an impression, and he left 1 or 2 Kerry men for dead.
He did, yeah. And you know, I mean, we talk about the inside Mayo line. The Mayo midfield has been absolutely outstanding today, and Matty Ruan is carrying the game for Mayo, setting up attack after attack, and this man really needs to get a few scores now to get Kerry back in this game.
Clifford again, he's bottled up, but it's a free, and I think Sean Hurson is looking in David McBrien's direction. He felt the fullback fouled Clifford initially, no advantage, and David Clifford swings over another free. Just cancels out that score at the other end.
Yeah, still a 5-point game, and Kerry need to get as much ball as possible into David Clifford. You know, he's carrying the lonely fight for Kerry up front. He's got 4 scores. Paul Ganey's chipped in with a point, Shawnee O'Shea with a point, and Dara Moynihan with a point. It's a poor return from the Kerry forward line, and you'd expect more.
Well, when they played in the league back in February, Mayo were 11 points up at half-time and went on to win by 7. That's a match that was referenced by Jack O'Connor during the week. Mentioned the way that Mayo steamrolled the All-Ireland champions. And at times in this game, Mayo have been hitting Kerry where it hurts again.
I mentioned it in the first half, the GPS.
That's Jack Carney winding up. Second Mayo wide since half-time.
Poor effort from Jack. I mentioned it in the first half, the GPS from the Mayo midfield. I'd love to get a reading on it. Diarmuid O'Connor and Matty Ruan have been outstanding in this game. They've covered every blade of grass in Fitzgerald Stadium.
I think a few years ago in a qualifier against Kildare, O'Connor would have clocked something in the region of 12 or 13 kilometres in that championship match. Again, possession given away needlessly there by Graham O'Sullivan, and you can see O'Sullivan there and David Clifford just out of picture. They're in conversation about the pass and the run, and neither seem too happy, Mark.
Yeah, the body language wasn't great, but again, that's happened during the course of this game, where Kerry have given away needless possession, and Jack O'Connor will be analysing this game, and he's definitely going to be looking at moments like that where Kerry are just coughing up possession, and it's poor, especially when you have a situation where you have a 1v1 inside, and Colm Reap saw that, and he comes out into the D area, which made it that bit more difficult for Graham O'Sullivan. But he should have more composure on the ball in that situation, and if it's not on, rotate the ball.
Right now, down at the town end, Jason Foley has got a hand on the shoulder of Aidan O'Shea. They couldn't be much closer as Mayo play keep ball. Well, right now, the league champions have Kerry just where they want them. Kerry will have to come in search of the ball here as Conor Loftus just decides to stretch his legs. Decoy run made ahead of him by Sam Callanan. That opens up the space, and O'Shea gets out in front of Foley. Very quick over those first few yards. 3 Kerry men, though, after him. One of them was Adrian Spillane, and the Kerry crowd liked that turnover, but just as quickly they've given the ball away again. Very sloppy. It's Jason Doherty looking to make them pay, and Jason Doherty kicks a beautiful score. Great. Kerry again make life hard for themselves.
Oh, this is it. Great score from Jason Doherty. Jason Foley. Kerry have changed up the full back line. Jason Foley's now on Aidan O'Shea. Did very well to defend that ball, but given the possession away again. I just said that a minute ago, and it's happened now again. Very disappointed from Kerry.
Here's Gainey looking to twist and turn. Donncha McHugh, Paul Gainey. Well, he knew from the moment it left his boot. He was happy. Good score from Paul Gainey, and again Kerry respond.
Yeah, hopefully that'll give him the confidence to get back into the game. Good score from Gainey. He's very potent in those positions, can get good scores. And just look, Kerry moved the ball quickly that time, and that's what they're going to need to do. And they seem to be just giving Mayo the kick out here and retreating.
Paul Gainey and Paul Murphy, 2 All-Ireland medals in their possession. And Gainey showing all of his experience there to make it count.
Kerry are minus a sweeper now in this move as Tadhg Morley has pushed up on Jack Carney. So it's very much man for man. And if David McBride can see that, I'd imagine they'd move that ball a little bit quicker, but Kerry are putting the squeeze on.
Well, Mayo had a mini training camp a few weeks ago in Castlebar, put through their paces by Donny Buckley, Stephen Rochford, Lee McHale, Damien Mulligan, and of course Kevin McStay, and all of that prep, well, it's paid off so far.
Yeah, I mentioned there that Tadhg Morley had pushed up on Jack Carney. That's obviously the reason why he was really like glue there. Won the ball back for Kerry, and that's what Kerry need to do. They need to be really tight with the Mayo forwards who've ruled the roost today.
Well, I can see Mike Quirk and Diarmuid Murphy and Jack O'Connor in conversation, perhaps thinking about another change. They're watching Diarmuid O'Connor go through and miss another scoring chance. Left it well short, just didn't get enough behind it. There's hardly any wind out there, so that was not the problem. Jason Doherty. Been dogged by injuries the last few seasons, but he's been a key man for Mayo so far. Matty Ruan. Diarmuid O'Connor anticipating his next move. Kerry with no sweeper in front of Aidan O'Shea. Tadhg Morley, in fact, is instead picking up a runner. It's Jason Coyne that has got his attention. Mayo just trying to keep Morley honest.
And there's been occasions in the second half where there's a 1v1 inside with Aidan O'Shea and Jason Foley, and if Mayo could see it, that long diagonal ball would be the ball to kick in. Poor ball in that occasion. Jason Foley out before Aidan O'Shea. Maybe that's the move they needed to do.
Aidan O'Shea wasn't happy with the quality of the pass. Kerry will now try and play on the fast break. They're looking for Gainey again. O'Hora after him. Lovely ball to Clifford. David to Pawdy. Back to David. He's going for it. Reap with a flying save to deny David Clifford a Kerry goal.
Great save from Colm Reap. We saw Shane Ryan in the first half. Equally as good there now by Colm Reap. And you know what? Great pass by David to Pawdy. Back to David. He kept it low. The goal was on. You can't fault David Clifford there. Great goalkeeping.
Well, for the first time in quite a while, the Kerry attack in sync, and the Cliffords again working in tandem. But Colm Reap was equal to it, and that got the crowd in the O'Sullivan stand over on the far side out of their seats. The Kerry crowd, that is, for the first time in quite a while.
A bit better from Kerry, but they need to get the scores on the board. They're creating a few chances now. Paul Gainey got 1 point. Opportunity of a goal there from David Clifford. But they're doing better, but they need to get the scores on the board.
Well, we're 10 minutes into the second half, and Kerry have been unable to make any inroads into the deficit as O'Shea again gets out in front. O'Shea hits it with everything he has. The umpire under it wasn't quite sure initially. Now he's flagged it as a wide ball. Let's take another look at that chance for David Clifford. Yeah,
there was a few bodies there, a few Mayo bodies. He kept it low. Pawdy looked at it, he sized it up. Back into David, kept it low. Great goalkeeping by Colm Reap. Opportunity gone a begging for Kerry. Good opportunity then for Aidan O'Shea to kick the ball over the bar. He had Jason Foley beaten, the hard work done. Didn't go over the bar from him. And now we see Rory Murphy from Listry in for Dara Moynihan, and Rory is that type of a player who likes running with the ball, so it'll be interesting to see if he can carve open the Mayo defence.
Mayo have hit 3 wides now since half-time as Pawdy Clifford heads straight for the crossbar. Couple of backs after him. Ball breaks for David Clifford. Pushed up and away for a 45 by Sam Callanan. Yeah. Well, I'm not quite sure how much Callanan knew about that.
Well, look at this for defending here. Is it I'm just watching the hand in by Patrick O'Hora, just there at the right time. Outstanding play. And, you know, he was running back with Paul Gainey. If the ball was passed properly, it was a definite goal. And another opportunity gone a begging for Kerry. They're asking questions now of Mayo. They're gone up a gear. But again, I go back to it. The score is still 5 points between the two teams. Seanie O'Shea needs to be kicking this.
Well, here comes Mayo's first sub. Kerry have made 3 already, and it's the team captain, Paddy Durkin, not fit enough to start. And actually, it's a double substitution. Enda Hessian is also coming in. So obviously, Kevin McStay and company, they're seeing something they're not happy with. And they're bringing in 2 very pacey half-backs. And they're taking out Jason Doherty and Sam Callanan. What do you make of that, Mark?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Rory Murphy just came on. And I think that Kevin McStay brought Paddy Durkin straight on to Rory Murphy, which is an interesting one. So you have 2 fresh players marking each other effectively. And we see Sam Callanan is gone off as well. So it'd be interesting to see, you know, Rory's a young player. Paddy's obviously want to go up the field and set up attacks for Mayo. Important kick here now from Seanie. This needs to go over the bar from Kerry's point of view.
He's only scored once from a free so far. That is deadly accurate. Well, his time on the ball, his possession count, they're all down today. Mayo have really kept him on a tight leash. But he nails the 45 that closes the gap to 4. And now Kerry press high and hard on Reep's kick out. Jack Carney is making a break to this left-hand side. Reep will instead go right down the middle. Read by Barry and claimed by Barry. Well, that was fascinating to watch, the way the two teams try to outwit each other on the kick-out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Reep went long then, and the Kerry midfielder coming into it. And here's another opportunity for Kerry now. They're coming into this game, Mike.
Graham Sullivan to Paul Gainey. Looked like it may be a backdoor cut. Here's Clifford coming to the front door and firing it. Well, the umpire says he fires it wide.
Yeah, he was going for goal, Mike, and he put power behind it. Great win by Jack Barry. He's coming into this game in the second half. Paul Gainey's coming into this game. We see Clifford getting it. Went for power and went wide, unfortunately. But as I said, Mike, Kerry are stepping up a gear or two, and they're giving the Kerry supporters something to cheer about.
Well, that umpire was to the pin of his collar trying to watch the flight of that ball. Most people had it chalked down as a score, but somehow David Clifford blazes wide from point-blank range. Still a 4-point game, but it's starting to feel a lot more like a championship match in this third quarter.
Mayo able to come out with this kick out. Colin Marie gives a sharp kick out, and they're able to come out easily enough with the ball. We see the likes of Graham O'Sullivan and Rory Murphy retreating, so Mayo are setting up their attack here now again.
Paddy Durkin just on and mad for road, looking for the run of James Carr. He's beaten Tom O'Sullivan in the foot race. Matty Ruan makes the angle run. Ruan cuts through. Ryan again comes up with the answer to the question asked by Matty Ruan this time. Well, it's one save after another from Shane Ryan.
That's his 4th save, Mike. And, you know, Mayo have got into great positions, scoring positions. And with Shane Ryan in the form that he's in, you just wonder, would Mayo be better off kicking some of those, fisting those over the bar, keep the scoreboard ticking.
Now Kerry on the counter-attack. Paddy Clifford starts the move. David Clifford looking to finish it. And this time the umpire's in no doubt. The Kerry crowd on their feet again. It's the Fossa phenomenon, David Clifford, that leaves us with a 3-point game.
Not alone does he kick that point, but watch the way the Mayo defenders are coming in close to him, and he kicks that ball high. There's the opportunity of the goal, and that's a 4-point turnaround when you consider Mayo should have had a goal the other end of the field.
Well, a lot of people wondering in advance just how much this game meant to Mayo and Kerry, how hard they might go for it, given that they're out again in round 2 in a couple of weeks' time. Louth coming to Castlebar, Kerry going to Cork. Well, they've both gone hard at it since this game started, and Mayo are in around the back. It's O'Connor, it's McHugh, and it looked like he'd run out of options, but Donncha McHugh manages to scoop it up and over the bar.
Good score. It's the runners, Mike, the runners that are causing Kerry the trouble all day long, and they're setting up score upon score, and Kerry just can't stop the runners. It was Matty Ruan who was in previous to that. Great save by Shane Ryan. There we see Donncha McHugh kicking the ball over or fisting the ball over the bar, but it's Kerry coming again with Tom O'Sullivan.
It's only his second point in championship football. He becomes the 7th different Mayo scorer. Again, the Kerry full forward line working well. Clifford to Gainey. Textbook finish from Paul Gainey.
I don't know what Jack O'Connor said to Paul Gainey at half-time, but it seems to have the desired effect. He's really come out in the second half. That's his second point in the second half and his 3rd point overall. And again, put a bit of loft in it, put a bit of height in it to make sure that there was no block down. Great score by Gainey. They need to get more ball into him, more ball into Clifford. It's only a 3-point game now.
Well, he's been on the road now for 10 years, Paul Gainey, and he is really reveling out there in the second half. As Mark said, Mayo are making a change. James Carr is being taken out, and they've brought in Tommy Conroy from the Neil.
Yeah, and talking about players that will run at you, I've played in defence myself, and the big thing is when a player gets a build-up of momentum, one player you don't want running at you is Tommy Conroy. So from a Kerry point of view, Mike, they're going to have to be seriously disciplined at the back and not give away cheap frees.
So less than 20 minutes to go here at Fitzgerald Stadium.
Gavin White, it looks as is picking him up, and Gavin will have the pace for him, even though great fist by Gavin White.
The two flyers match up, White and Conroy. Break works out for Mayo. Aidan O'Shea to Durkin. He was at full stretch to hang on to that, and he somehow has managed to engineer a free for himself. Graham Sullivan, I think, acknowledges he may have been a tad overzealous, but...
And that's what I'm talking about, Mike, just with... Yeah, that's way too high from Graham O'Sullivan. And I just said it, from a Kerry point of view, they're going to have to be disciplined. It's a 3-point game now. This is going to change to 4 points. Mayo are a team that like to run the ball. Kerry are going to have to be seriously disciplined. Wait for Mayo to hop or solo and get a hand in. Over the bar by Ryan O'Donoghue. That's his 5th, I make it, Mike.
5 points, 3 from play. And Ryan O'Donoghue leading the line for Mayo in the absence of Cillian O'Connor. And right now Mayo's full forward line is Aidan O'Shea, flanked by O'Donoghue and Conroy. Here is O'Shea, made the run to track Graham Sullivan, fouls him.
Talking about players that are runner, good players running with the ball is one of Kerry's players on the bench, is Brino Begley. He's the first sub to come in, and he hasn't been in, so it'll be interesting to see if Kerry bring him in.
David Clifford looking to see more of the ball now in this second half. Forced to take the scenic route. He's going to shoot. There was nothing else on. What a score from David Clifford. Footballer of the year, an artist at work. And again, he gets one of the biggest roars of the day.
And again, from a Mayo point of view, they did very little wrong there. You know, they shepherded him out towards the middle. It looked as though he was going to pass the ball, and then all of a sudden he decides to shoot, and a great score from David Clifford. His 3rd from play, his 6th overall.
Another change by Mayo. It's Owen McLaughlin for Porrick O'Hora. Another more or less straight swap. David Clifford with 6 points, 3 from play, 3 frees. But his engine now very much up and running.
Yeah, and Kerry have been getting more ball into Clifford, more ball into Gainey in the second half. It's a 3-point game, but you would have to say a much improved performance by Kerry in the second half. And again, the emphasis should be on getting the ball into the inside line that bit quicker. Tom Sullivan is playing most of his play over by the stand side in the left-hand side. So he is an option to get quick ball to him and then into the inside boys.
Kerry have won 3 of the last 5 championship matches between the counties, but right now it's Mayo who are still setting the pace. 14 minutes of normal time to go. Jack O'Connor, he's never lost a championship game to Mayo as Kerry manager. Is today to be that day, or what will the All-Ireland champions come up with in this last quarter? Right now, they're watching Mayo again hold possession. Diarmuid O'Connor. Paddy Durkin leaves that behind Jordan Flynn, but it was anticipated by Ruan. Kerry have outscored Mayo 6 points to 4, by the way, since half-time. Yeah. Looking now to push on.
15 minutes to go in the game, and it's just the period where you'd want to see a score or two from either team to get themselves really firing.
Ball doesn't stick in the Mayo attack, and Kerry break at pace. Rory Murphy to Shawnee O'Shea. Here's Murphy again, looking to make an impression, and Rory Murphy misses, but not by a whole lot. The umpire again just needed, I think, confirmation from his colleague there.
Yeah, no Hawkeye in Fitzgerald Stadium, Killarney, but Rory, he's a player I trained last year with Listroy. Fantastic young talent. He's really stepped up, and you know, would have been great for his confidence to get that ball over the bar. Has played in the 2 championship games so far. His dad Pa and his uncle Ger would have won All-Ireland club medals with Lawn Rangers in 1995, and would have had Kerry experience as well, so he's following in their footsteps.
Stoppage here as Jack Coyne is treated. Starting a championship game today for just the 2nd time, the Ballyhonus defender. And there's Jack O'Connor. He has had his work cut out for him today.
That's what you want in championship games. You want the team to that you're playing against to really put it up to you. Like Morley's going off now, and
Brino Begley
is
coming in. Well, there's activity as well on the Mayo sideline. Looks like Stephen Cohen is about to enter the fray. Long kick out from Reap. O'Shea is the target, drifts out the field just to give his goalkeeper an option. Manages to win a free. That leaves Ryan O'Donoghue as the lone ranger in the Mayo full forward line at the moment.
Great win by O'Shea, and it's a no-brainer really when you think that Colm Reap is taking a kick out, and one of the options should be a go-to kick out, and what better one than Aidan O'Shea out around the middle of the field to come out for one. So he's been very effective today. Jason Foley has got to grips with him that bit in the second half in the last 15 minutes, but he's still been very effective.
Well, Stephen Cohen just receiving some last-second instructions there from Mayo's assistant manager, Stephen Rochford. It's a 100th league and championship appearance for Cohen, and it's Jack Coyne who's been taken out. That's Mayo's 5th substitution, by the way. They've all come in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Conroy to Kearney. Here's O'Donoghue looking to wrong foot the defender. Spots the run of McLaughlin! Owen McLaughlin with his first goal in the championship to blow this game wide open.
What a goal. You know, I said it before, the runners is something that was going to catch Kerry. Great goal by McLaughlin. Here we see him coming through. Graham O'Sullivan trying to catch him. Great offload by Ryan O'Donoghue. And now Mayo have all the momentum.
Well, it was going to take something special to beat Shane Ryan, the sort of form he's in. McLaughlin went low and hard, a daisy cutter on the beautiful manicured surface here at Fitzgerald Stadium, and it flew in. Ryan beaten for the first time in Championship 2023.
Yeah, and if you look at all the previous efforts that Mayo had for goal, they were kind of straight at Shane Ryan in that they were middle of the goal. This one was down low, like you said, Mike, a daisy cutter. 6 points now by Mayo ahead. Like, it's going to be very hard to see Kerry come back from this, and dare I say it, that record that we've had since 1995, is that going to be gone?
Right now, that record is hanging by a thread. 39 games unbeaten here in Killarney in the championship. But right now, the Munster and All-Ireland champions, they're in a very tight corner. 5 down at half-time. They've now fallen 6 behind with 9 to play. And you'd have to say, tactically, and from the point of view of producing a performance, Mark, Kevin McStay and his management team, they've got it spot on.
They have, yeah. They've been, you know, beaten by Roscommon. They had to dust themselves down. They've had to come back. The 6-week gap has possibly helped them. But look, they've come out today, Mike. They've been the better team here. There's no doubt about that. They've had the upper hand in their forward line against Kerry for most of the day. And they're fair game for a win here now. 10 minutes to go.
Well, they're attacking in waves. Quick hands. It's Conor Loftus looking to finish that flowing move. Instead, he drills Mayo's 6th wide, their 4th in the second half.
From a Kerry point of view, they really need to get the ball up the field quickly and into David Clifford. He's had a few opportunities of goals, and the only way I can see Kerry really getting back into this game now is if they do get a goal.
Kerry are getting ready to bring in Stephen O'Brien as Paddy Clifford tries to make some headway down this right-hand side. Graham O'Sullivan creeping forward. Tom Sullivan. Back to Graham O'Sullivan. As Kerry try to plot their way through this very well-organised Mayo defensive system. David Clifford is going to try and shoot over it, and David Clifford inevitably finds a way. He has given a masterclass of finishing.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, and the one thing that he's able to do more so than any other player, Mike, is that when the screen is there, when you've bodies back, he's able to kick those long distance points. He came on against Mayo in the league, and I think he kicked a few of those long range distance points. So, you know, it's back to a 5-point game, but you know, they're going to need to get the ball down the field more and feed David Clifford more ball. I think Jack Barry's gone off.
So Kerry have made that change. 5 points in it. 6.5 minutes to play. Both teams will be in action again in round 2 in a fortnight. Kerry have that Munster derby against Cork to look forward to. Mayo will welcome the Leinster finalist Louth to Castlebar. That's a loose pass by Colm Reap, and the Mayo goal is open. McBrien drops back to cover. How quickly can Kerry break? O'Shea to Clifford. Back to O'Shea. They're hunting a goal. They may have to be content with a point. It's David Clifford who takes it. Mayo had scrambled their defence. They had 7 men back in front of Colm Reap, and Clifford pops it over.
Again, it's that man. He's been outstanding today. Any ball that's gone into him, you know, with the exception of 1 or 2, I think he's been outstanding. David Clifford really brought the game to Mayo. And now it's back to a 4-point game. So Mayo may be trying to stop the momentum now. But like I said, get the ball into David Clifford and try and get another few scores and go in with maybe 3 or 4 minutes to go with the game in the balance.
That's 5 points from play now for David Clifford. 2 in a row since the McLaughlin goal, as Kerry try to come with one last big push. But they need a goal, surely now, to go on and win this thing, as Stephen Cohen tries to drive out of the Mayo defence. Matty Ruan. Well, at this stage in the championship game here 4 years ago, it was all over bar the shouting. Kerry cruising to a very comfortable win. Different story today as Enda Hession spins out of the tackle. He's been out of action for the guts of 3 months. Tommy Conroy to Paddy Durkin. Again, great big gaps appearing in the Kerry defence, and Durkin accelerates through and pops over on the run, just to push Mayo a little further out of reach.
Great experience by Paddy Durkin, doing the right thing with the ball. How many times have they been in that position and they went for goal? Paddy Durkin kept the scoreboard ticking there, and a great score. And you know, they're finishing with their probably a better team than they started with. They have the players, the go-to players, the experienced players like Paddy Durkin on the field, Tommy Conroy, and you know, you want that bit of experience.
Diarmuid O'Connor sporting the scars of battle. Diarmuid O'Connor, his namesake, the man he took down. Jordan Flynn in with the steal. Another important interception.
They have an overlap.
And here's the man on the end of it, Carney to Ruan. This might finish it. Matty Ruan chips it up and over the bar. Kerry had committed so many players forward. They were wide open at the back, and Mayo made them pay.
Yeah, you talk about players who've been, you know, up there had a huge influence on this game, and Matty Ruan is certainly one of those players. What a game he's had. I said it already, he's covered every blade of grass on the field here today, and chips in with another score there now, and that's certainly the insurance point from a Mayo point of view.
Well, this has been quite the statement performance from Mayo. They were out of most conversations in terms of All-Ireland contenders over the last 6 weeks or so. Certainly not in the top 3 in most power rankings, but this performance, this display, Mark, will put Mayo back in the conversation.
It will. I don't know how many times, Mike, that I've been involved in teams that we got a beating. You get your dusting down, you regroup as a team, and you go back to the drawing board. And for me, it's very evident that Mayo have really done that. They've done a bit of soul searching, and they're very much a different Mayo team to the Mayo team that took to the field against Roscommon. To come down into the Lions' Den, good score by Shawnee O'Shea, to come down into the Lions' Den and to be able to perform the way they did. They were full of energy, and they're fair game for their result here today, and it looks as though now they're really going to push on unless Kerry get a goal.
2 frees and a 45 for Shawnee O'Shea. Held scoreless from play, and that has been one of many Kerry issues that have cropped up over the last 68 minutes or so. They just haven't been able to get enough help, enough support for David Clifford and Paul Ganey up front.
Yeah, Kerry have been a bit flat around the middle of the field, and you know, Adrian Spillane here getting involved with Enda Hessian. But Kerry have been a bit flat. They upped the gear in the second half, but it was Mayo then who came back, and they really responded, which is a great sign of a team. And Mayo were really, you know, favourites for a lot of people at the start of the year. The Roscommon game maybe put pay to that, but back they have come and they've really answered the critics.
Stephen O'Brien shoots on sight, and the reaction of the crowd will tell you all you need to know. That was well wide. Well, we're 10 weeks out from the All-Ireland final, and from here on in, the big picture will start to take shape. Already you can see scores of Kerry supporters heading towards the exits. They feel it's done and dusted as we head towards additional time. Graham O'Sullivan to Paul Ganey. Here's Rory Murphy. Tom O'Sullivan hops up on his shoulder. He's going to go for the points just to keep that scoreboard ticking. As we head into stoppage time, Tom Sullivan cuts the gap to 4. That's his second. He's had a mixed bag in terms of shots at goal. The 2-time All-Star, Tom O'Sullivan.
Yeah, hasn't been Tom's day or Kerry's day. So, you know, Tom still comes in with his customary 2 points, which is great for him. But from a Kerry point of view, disappointing to see the Kerry supporters leave here today. Now Kerry are exerting that press and looking for a turnover.
Owen McLaughlin under pressure, put there by Donnacha McHugh, but he uses his pace, the former international cyclist, to get out of that tight corner. Ball breaks off Paul Murphy. And again, that's symptomatic of Kerry's display, just not as crisp and as sharp as we've come to expect. Mark, at this stage of the game? your AIB man of the match, please.
Yeah, there's been a lot. There's been a lot from a Kerry point of view. Shane Ryan was obviously outstanding. I think he had 3 or 4 point-blank saves. Outstanding from him. Pushing up the field the other end. Paul Ganey improved in the second half. David Clifford was the go-to man for Kerry. He was absolutely outstanding. He was the only player who really stood up. But from a Mayo point of view, this man here on the ball, Aidan O'Shea, he was the man. You know, he was a target man when they needed him inside. He's just after winning another free there. He knows this game is in the bag. Really caused Kerry huge problems in the first half. And in the second half, he drifted out the field that bit more. Aidan O'Shea is my man of the match today.
And there is the Brafey bomber right on cue, in the thick of it again. He really has rolled back the years with his performance today. He'll be 33 next month, in his 15th season, and this would be his 4th point. Back off the post, Ryan O'Donoghue, quickest to react. Mayo sharper to the break. Tommy Conroy, they're queuing up. It's Jordan Flynn looking to steer it over. Plenty of height and accuracy too. And just look what it means to Jordan Flynn. Mayo have been up for this right from the very start. And Jordan Flynn possibly puts the seal on a well-deserved victory.
That's a poor ball. Kerry fortuitous there to get a free. Good score from Jordan Flynn prior to that. If you were ever to lose, Mike, it would be in the provincial championship. As I said, it gave you that bit of a break, and that's what Mayo have done, and they've come back really strong here. And Kerry now will have to do the soul searching but they won't have as much time as Mayo had.
Kerry go long, and look who wins the break. Aidan O'Shea, who had ran all the way back to cover. There goes the full-time whistle. Records tumble at Fitzgerald Stadium in Killarney. Kerry are beaten here in the championship for the first time since the 1995 Munster final. Their 39-game unbeaten run is ended by Aidan O'Shea and Mayo. And the league champions, well, they have blown Group 1 of this All-Ireland series wide open with this statement performance and win. Their first win over Kerry in the championship for almost 6 years. Well, both teams, of course, Mark, live to fight another day. They're both out in a fortnight's time. But a lot for Kerry to work on and to talk about in the wake of this defeat.
Oh, huge. And, you know, you're looking at the game, Mike, and you're looking at, say, when Kerry had possession, you know, the amount of times they gave the ball away. Very disappointing from a Kerry point of view. More importantly, very disappointing. You wouldn't associate that with All-Ireland champions. And Kerry have huge soul searching to do, not much time to do it. They have to pick themselves up really quickly. And, you know, you're looking at the performances throughout the team, with the exception of David Clifford, Shane Ryan, Paul Ganey in the second half. Not too many fellas can put their hands up and say they played well. So, as I said, fair play to Mayo. They've been outstanding here today. They really answer the critics, and they now are in control of this group.
Well, we wondered about the team that Kevin McStay is building. Would they be ring rusty after a 6-week break or ready for battle? We've got our answer. It's finished here at Fitzgerald Stadium in Killarney in a convincing win for Mayo. Kerry beaten for the first time since 1995 at this stadium.